Hey guys, Omni here. It is another week and another breakdown for Marvel's What If from New Rockstar's own Eric Voss, sporting yet a different item from their merch store this week, since I already wore their What If one last night, obviously, in the reaction. I hope you checked that out. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, go check it out. It was a very interesting episode, that is to say the least. I really kind of hope at this point the next episode might have a little bit more of an upbeat flavor to it, because we've had some pretty depressing episodes back to back. Still been fun, still been a ride. I still personally think the Doctor Strange episode's probably my favorite, but I had a lot of fun with this episode. It was insane, and I can't wait to see what Eric over at New Rockstars has found in this episode, because I'm sure there's quite a bit. So, guys, let's go ahead and, if you're not already, subscribe to these guys and dive into this breakdown. Here we go.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of Marvel Studios' What If Episode 5, What If Zombies? Which allows us to laugh through a zombie apocalypse until we remember that earlier apocalypse we were worried about. I'm gonna break down all the Easter eggs and animation details that you might have missed from this episode. Here we go. We open with Hulk blasting back to Earth via the Bifrost. In Avengers Infinity War, the framing actually matches those shots, including the tilt rotation on a shot of Manhattan and the reflection of Hulk in the Sanctum window. But this time the Bifrost blast to the staircase comes not as Strange and Wong are there, but leaving Banner all alone.
Thanos is coming. He's coming. Hello?
No one except for the Cloak
Confused
of
Mark
Levitation, who might
Ruffalo
be
is just
Earth's
always
sole survivor by the end of all this.
hilarious.
No word on what happened to Wanda Maximoff and Hulk whose skin is supposed to be impenetrable, or to Bucky, or how Thor would have held up, or Groot, who as a Flora Colossus is made of bark like cellulose instead of skin tissue and blood. I'm just saying, we need a Marvel Zombies Part 2 and get this Groot cape. The Cloak hooks up Banner with the maroon
That would be
robes that sorcerers
interesting.
typically wear, and he asks,
Was I too late?
he's assuming that Thanos already succeeded in snapping away life. I guess he wouldn't know how long he was out for. Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian beam down to the street without the heavy gusts of their Q ship. Hulk refuses to come out, as he does during this scene in Infinity War. Actually, in that movie, Ebony Maw proclaims,
Hear me and rejoice. You are about to die at the hands of the children of Thanos.
here it plays out this way.
Hear me and rejoice.
Come out! Come out! Come out! What do you mean, no?
You are about to die at the hands of the children of...
Yeah, mixing in Banner's later moment from Infinity War.
Come out! Come out! Come out! What do you mean, no?
And right as Ebony Maw says hands, Iron Man's hand appears, and Maw is cut off right before he says Thanos, avoiding reminding us of the guy to set up the final twist of the episode. Banner's 3 co-warriors from Infinity War arrive,
Tony?
with Alan Silvestri's Avengers music there. The silhouettes of Wong and Iron Man and Doctor Strange look haggard and tattered. Tony is wearing his Mark 50 nanotech armor from Infinity War, but notice how his helmet is retracted, the better to bite us with. Banner says,
Oh boy, are you guys screwed.
which Banner says later in Infinity War when Thor arrives late.
You guys are so screwed now!
Through the dust cloud, you can make out a super tattered zombie Strange jumping through a portal directly at Ebony Maw. No
Yep.
care whatsoever if Maw were to take the time stone in the Eye of Agamotto. They mask this brawl with thicker dust in a lens flare, and they use sound effects in Obsidian's hand to hint at the violence.
That
Yeah.
sort of seems like overkill.
Notice how the zombies can still use their weaponry and their sorcery. In Robert Kirkman's Marvel Zombies comics, the virus, known as the Hunger, leaves the infected's full mental capacity unaffected. It just really leaves them with a carnivorous drive akin to zombies. The comics
Yeah.
also follow the Fantastic Four, Magneto, Galactus, a whole bunch of characters as the virus spreads to alternate realities, and we learn that the outbreak began when a Watcher from the Earth Z dimension sent a zombified sentry to Earth 2149. So yes, a Watcher was behind all of this. In this case, our Watcher doesn't intervene and is caused by
Yet.
something else that I'll get to later.
We'll see.
Notice how Zombie Stark's face is decayed, but his earlobe still has a bit of flesh tone in there. Kind of like how we see with Zombie Cap's ear later, showing how this virus is really just affecting their limbic systems in their brains, and how with the right Mind Stone frequency, this could be reversed, but to a pretty decayed bony body. And what kind of quality of life are we talking there? Wong gnaws on Obsidian's severed arm, similar to how he uses a portal to sever that arm in Infinity War, but then Wong here dies a similar way, portal severance, this time to the head. Banner kicks it, just like how he kicked Obsidian's arm all freaked out. Wasp uses a swarm of flying ants to disintegrate these zombies.
Who are you?
All that's left.
Yeah, some fun wordplay from Hope there. Hope is all that's left. The dad jokes aren't limited to Scott
Aw.
here. Spider-Man scoops up
Nice.
Banner.
Hey, relax. I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah?
She
Well, then
is
what
Hope,
the hell
and she
happened to
is
the
Hope.
neighborhood?
Yeah, Peter Parker is voiced not by Tom Holland, but by actor and singer Hudson Thames. Notice
Ha,
how his
I got
suit
the name
isn't
right.
exactly like the one we saw in Infinity War, perhaps because
When I was
Sony
pronouncing
might
it before.
own that exact movie version of the suit. So instead, they used the Disney-owned version of the suit that they made for the Disney parks. The Watcher says,
Like too many great
Interesting.
catastrophes, this one sprang from a place of love and hope.
yeah, notice how he's much closer to us than he usually is, and now we see his mouth as he's talking. Like ever since nearly interfering last episode, he is getting nearer and nearer each week as he takes a less godly and more personified form. He explains how 2 weeks earlier, Hank Pym went to rescue Janet Van Dyne from the quantum realm. Notice how Pym approaches a crystalline barrier, which in Ant-Man and the Wasp represented the barrier between subatomic space and the separate dimension that the quantum realm is. But here, the distant orange light, the tendrils, the floating crags are all on this side of the barrier, and he lands on a different surface than before, and there is a problem.
Janet Van Dyne contracted a quantum virus that corrupted her brain.
Yeah, so the Watcher doesn't go into any further detail about the origins of this quantum virus or why Janet and Hank didn't get affected when in the quantum realm in the movie, which is a bit weird because every episode up until now, we see at least some kind of deliberate turning point from the movies that characters make, whether it's Peggy Carter deciding to stay in the room or Doctor Strange still being in a relationship with Christine Palmer. So what is the difference here? Well, after staring at this for too long, notice these purple pillars of light that now beam up from below. Those were not in the movie. I'm wondering if these could be the origins of the virus. And inside Marvel, I speculated that Janet could have been intentionally infected by someone who engineered this virus specifically to get to Thanos, maybe even engineered by the Celestials, known to be experimental biological engineers of the Marvel Universe, hoping perhaps that zombie Thanos might use his stones instead to incarnate a sudden influx of life, because what do zombies want more than anything? An unlimited amount of uninfected flesh to chew on, and that this might trigger that emergence that in the Eternals trailer, they said Hulk's snap energy surge triggered. Meanwhile, there's no sighting of the mysterious quantum realm city that was hidden in the background in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which
I don't know
now
about
believe
that,
to be Kang's
but
kingdom of Chronopolis.
we'll
Since
see,
Kang is
I guess.
returning in
Well,
Ant-Man and the
maybe we
Wasp
won't.
Quantumania. There's also an argument that Kang could have released this virus as a way to try to biologically subvert the absolute point of Thanos' snap on the timeline. I'm just saying, the fact that the virus didn't affect these characters in Ant-Man and the Wasp means that something changed. Someone wanted this virus to get into our reality. Meanwhile, you gotta love the Watcher's sass here. And Wasp's shadow crosses over Hank's lifeless hand, leading Hope to greet what she thinks is her mom, and I love Scott piping in the background there.
Mom?
Hi, Miss Van Dyne.
Hank attacks Scott, and Scott's hand grasps the glass in the classic horror frame, or like Rose's sex grasp in Titanic. The Avengers Quinjet lands on Golden Gate Bridge with Hawkeye, Infinity War era blonde Natasha, Cap back in a Civil War suit with his shield that has already been resurfaced after T'Challa scratched it in Civil War, and his 2018 beard shaved. Supposedly, this crisis must have ended the feud between him and Tony, and then of course Iron Man and Black Panther. I love this lineup. I would love to see these guys in action. But notice as the camera pulls away, we see the
Would've been
zombies
awesome.
tackle Iron Man and Hawkeye and Natasha, but none actually tackle T'Challa. In fact, the last we see of him through that crowd, he is swatting back one of those zombies. And in that tight vibranium weave, it makes sense that he would be able to repel the bites.
Yeah.
On to Peter Parker's DIY zombie survival video.
Talked about
recalling
that.
the quick cut video diaries that he kept in
In
Spider-Man
a-
Homecoming. It's also similar
a
to
review.
the rules in the movie Zombieland. We see Peter here with other survivors, including Happy Hogan, short reading I'm not single, I'm saving myself for Thor, skills, driving, coffee, and boxing, recalling his past in the comics as an amateur wrestler, and his boxing Natasha in Iron
Yeah.
Man 2. He wears Tony Stark's wristwatch-based palm repulsor repulsor from Civil War, this would be one of the previous versions
Blam.
Stark would have after he upgraded to the Mark 50. Then Kurt, David Desmalchian's character from the Ant-Man films, he's wearing his ex-con security jacket. Skills, languages, Slavic folklore, and crime. Slavic folklore referring to his Baba Yaga ghost story that comes back later this episode. Bucky Barnes showers in a USA-themed shower curtain as he later in this episode bears the Stars and Stripes of the Shield. He's listed as silent but deadly. Skills, murder, killer arm, heavy sleeper, of course referring to his deep freeze hibernation. Bucky has the new black vibranium arm that was given to him in Infinity War, so the Wakandans must have given him this arm as this zombie outbreak began. He says,
"You know all I have to do is squeeze, right?"
Okay.
kind of like Indiana Jones's threat to that Nazi woman in The Last Crusade.
All I have to do is squeeze.
Then Sharon Carter, listed as the
Blonde Bond.
Skills, spycraft, first aid, eulogies, referring to how she patched up Team Cap and eulogized Peggy Carter in Civil War, and final member of the team, Okoye, who's in the US looking for T'Challa after he went missing. And we see how their base is a series of subway cars and a bus and then a school bus, all whipped together, suspended between buildings. A pretty genius idea for a sanctuary in a zombie apocalypse. I'm not sure how they were able to avoid Falcon all this time. They
That's a
use
good
what looks
point.
like Stark's gauntlet from the Hulkbuster armor to hollow project the signal that they've received. It also looks like they got a Super Nintendo over on the right. Banner says,
Well, it
Nice.
looks to me like your message is in non-linear hexacode.
That location look familiar, Agent Carter?
It's Camp Lehigh in New Jersey.
Camp Lehigh, of course, where Cap first trained in the first movie, and where he and Tony stole the Tesseract in Endgame in 1970, and where Cap and Natasha discovered Zola's algorithm in Winter Soldier, leading to that place getting bombed back in 2014, though most of it appears intact this episode. Happy drives them to Grand Central.
I thought you were an Uber driver.
No, I'm a personal chauffeur. There's a difference.
Yeah, we realize that they are in the Pimtech van that Hope drove in Ant-Man and the Wasp, with this jump scare evoking that huge pigeon, and they use it to burst through the zombie's head. Now, Grand Central Station is where Hulk punched Thor out of the movie and the prologue of Spider-Man Homecoming, but this station does not connect to New Jersey. Anyway, they split up.
Splitting up? Do you guys just not have horror
Nice.
movies in Wakanda?
We don't need them. We have American reality shows.
It's also
Yeah,
pretty
Peter brings up a
prominent
crucial
most of the
point
time
most
in
zombie
most
fiction,
Spider-Man
that a lot
games.
of times characters are not as aware of horror movie tropes as the audience is. A meta concept explored really well in movies like Scream and Cabin in the Woods starring Thor, but in this case, Peter Parker is aware of zombie movies, everyone else is not, and in WandaVision, they did screen George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, so characters in this universe should be aware of some of these tropes. Happy uses his
True.
palm repulsor.
True.
But he and Sharon get attacked by zombie Hawkeye, and after Happy dies, his zombie self still says blam. Meanwhile, zombie
I
Falcon
didn't even
attacks
notice
Bucky and
that.
Okoye, and Okoye splits him in half, the kind of kill Denai Guerrera's other zombie-killing character Michonne would deliver in The Walking Dead.
It was your friend. Sorry about that.
I should be sad, but I'm not.
Yeah, this is before Bucky and Sam worked together in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when they still had more of a love-hate relationship coming out of Civil War.
Can you move your seat up?
Couldn't have done that earlier.
I hate you.
They're able to escape the train station.
I love
and
them,
Spider-Man
man.
gets to help
I
them with
love their
cloak of
banter.
levitation.
It's a good look on you.
Really? You think I could pull it off?
Maybe I'll grow into it.
Maybe a hint toward Peter's coming experience with sorcery in Spider-Man No Way Home. Meanwhile, Zombie Cap kills Sharon. Notice that as she's at his feet, her finger twitches a little back to life. Zombie Cap's sleeve is torn, and you can see he still has a defined deltoid. My boy's still jacked. Or it's like a bloody gash. Either way, he's cut. And notice how Bucky punches Zombie Cap in that jaw, causing it to
Nice.
plunge down a foot. Gross. Cap tosses
Ugh.
his shield at Bucky, who hurls it back, similar to Bucky's shield catch in Winter Soldier, and it cuts him in half.
Sorry, pal. Guess this is the end
And
of the
in
line.
Falcon and the Winter
Yeah,
Soldier,
end of the line was their repeated line to each
when
other.
he has
I'm with
to
you to the end of the
catch it
line, pal.
every
Is
time.
initiated at the end of the line.
Also, you notice the music there was actually
John
a Dark
Walker
minor
trucks it
chord
at him.
version of Captain America's theme.
Yep, I noticed that.
Sorry, pal. Guess this is the end of the line.
Hope asks Peter how he stays so upbeat.
My mom, dad, Uncle Ben, Mr. Stark. Now happy. I've lost a lot. But my Aunt May used to say, that if we don't keep smiling when they can't, then we might as well just be gone too.
Yes, this is our first official mention of Uncle Ben in the MCU, after his initials appeared on Peter's luggage in Far From Home, which did stand for Ben Franklin Parker, not Big Parker. Hope carries them over the zombie horde by growing big, though with that tear in her
I'm so glad they finally did. And maybe we didn't need it. It wasn't necessary, but it's a big part of the character. And I think a lot of people, myself included, really just wanted that connection to still be there. I know they go really hard down the Iron Man Jr. pathway. A lot of people with the biggest complaint about Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but I mean, just having him in there. I don't know if there's like a rights thing with the character Uncle Ben and Sony, and I know why they didn't retread that origin in it, but like that felt like the presence was always kind of missed. So I'm glad to see that kind of referenced in here once again. And I'm also glad that, unlike the actual Marvel Zombie comic, one, Peter is not infected, and he didn't eat Aunt May.
Her suit and how she's able to stay large even after her helmet visor is cracked. This would be the first time the MCU has shown Pymtech powered characters of different sizes outside of the closed system of their suits. Something that the comics don't really worry about, and I guess this episode doesn't really either. Vision explains how he was able to repel the zombies.
The Mind Stone. It emits a subfrequency that is not to their liking.
Could that mean the infection is some kind of encephalopathy?
Yeah, encephalopathy means damage to the brain. Meanwhile, this bunker looks like the one Cap and Natasha found Zola's AI in the Winter Soldier, but must be a different one than the one that imploded. Now remember, the Mind Stone
or that just didn't happen in this universe for some reason.
To warn him about Thanos' coming in Infinity War. And this could have been linked to the plan I've suggested, that this virus could have been engineered to get to Thanos via specifically the Mind Stone. A stone that I believe the Celestials first gave to Thanos before Loki's invasion, since we know the Celestials did used to wield Infinity Stones, and all of this is about getting that stone back to zombie Thanos in this case, because why else would Thanos go to Wakanda looking for the Mind Stone if the Mind Stone wasn't there yet? Unless it's some kind of oversight or plot hole. Vision saves Scott Lang's head in a glass jar, Futurama style, and Okoye tells him,
Hey, Tula, don't cry. You'll fog up your jaw.
Sorry.
Yeah, Tula Tula is a traditional Zulu lullaby in order to stop babies from crying. They realize Vision lured them there to feed them to zombie Wanda Maximoff. T'Challa has lost a leg, similar to how he does in the Marvel Zombies comics, and Vision says,
While your anger is predictable, I can assure you my actions, though unsavory, were nevertheless born of logic. I still cannot entirely fathom what I have done, but I cannot bring myself to leave her.
Sounds like Vision found it logical to contain Wanda rather than unleash her on the world, though it also sounds like loving Wanda is just something in his code, which I think is pretty beautiful, but also really messed up how he
maybe because of her connection to the Mind Stone from her experimentation.
The hallway. Now it's super creepy.
I love this shot.
Are cast both in front of her on the floor and on the wall behind. The front one making sense for the red light source behind her, but also suggests that some light is catching an additional dark spirit that must be standing behind her. The cloak of levitation saves Scott, making a pretty fun duo between the two of them. Yes, of course, the levitation spell from Harry Potter, and I don't think that or any of these constitute dad jokes. Dad jokes are really just solid wordplay that Gen Z keeps moving the goalpost on because they're mad at everyone older than them for ruining the planet, which, fair. Okoye gets taken.
My king, Wakanda forever.
And Vision implodes the bunker, saying,
There's a quad jet in the hangar.
Yeah, quad jets are the predecessors to Quinjets. A quad jet is actually what Carol and Fury piloted in Captain Marvel. And Vision, to atone, rips out the Mind Stone from his own head, creating the kind of shockwave that happened when his Mind Stone was destroyed in Infinity War. But also the moment he does, his eyes roll over and he turns gray, just like he did in Infinity War and showed back up as in WandaVision. Banner wants to stay behind and let them escape.
I don't think I can lose another friend today.
So, avenge us.
I like
that.
that.
T'Challa are like, you dude, we're not friends enough. And if you think about it, Peter wasn't called an Avenger until Tony Stark knighted him in Infinity War, which never happened here, so Banner telling him to avenge them gives Peter that promotion. Banner finally forces Hulk out of hiding, and he and Wanda duke it out, but we never see what comes from that, or where Bucky landed. Giant Hope tries to grab the jet and fails, and pissed chucks a zombie at them. T'Challa tells Peter,
In my culture, death is not the end. They are still with us, as long as we do not forget them.
A touching callback to Chadwick Boseman's memorable words after T'Chaka's death in Civil War.
In my culture,
And his own legacy with us.
It's more of a stepping off point.
Yet as they arrive to Wakanda, inside the shield gates, zombies claw to get out. Standing above zombie Dora Milaje and Jabari warriors, zombie Thanos stands victorious. 5 out of 6 stones in his gauntlet. Notice how his pose matches his final do-it-myself.
That was a
shot
detail I
in the Ultron
didn't
post-credits
really
scene.
notice
Think about
until
where
afterwards
Thanos
when I
has
was
been
editing
in
my
this timeline.
reaction.
He must have gotten the Reality Stone from nowhere, and the Soul Stone from Vormir, meaning Gamora is dead, and
So, like, I know some people were like, well, how do you already have the Time Stone or anything like that? He's already on Earth. So he's already interacted with everybody because, like, the way it's framed, like, it's easy to missed the finer little details in that. I only caught it when I was editing my reaction. It was like, yeah, like Eric said here, the zombies, Wakanda's not a safe haven. It's not safe. They were infected already. The barrier is keeping them contained. They're trying to get out of Wakanda. Thanos is already in Wakanda. He's already been to Earth and retrieved the stone. So seemingly, I would have to imagine he already went to where Strange's corpse was in New York, got the stone, and then for whatever reason went to Wakanda and in reversed time. Though I don't know what exactly would have drawn him to Wakanda after going there. So it's a little shaky, but I liked how they connected that, because it's really easy to miss. And like the thing that caught my eye on it was when I was watching it the second time and there were infected Dora Milaje in front of him that were at his feet. So there is that. So the question is, obviously, as they're getting into now, like how to get all the other stones.
He had planned to rendezvous with Ebony Maw on Titan for the Time Stone, but now that Maw never made that trip, Thanos probably went directly to Earth to recover the Eye of Agamotto from New York, and I guess then headed to the only place the surviving Avengers would go, or maybe they just didn't think about this. I don't know. The point is,
I think it's probably that one, but we'll see.
Groot and Rocket
Oh,
and Guardians
we
of the
won't.
Galaxy minus Gamora, meaning there is more what if zombies to explore, as Zombie Thanos would probably go planet to planet now, and then maybe even to other timelines by infecting the TVA. So Marvel, again, please give us a Marvel Zombies Part 2. Keep us smiling for hope. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com.
Oh, I need to
Follow
check
me
out
on
their new
Instagram and
stuff.
Twitter at
They got
EABossball, and
some
subscribe to New
Shang-Chi
Rockstars.
stuff.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hell yeah. I do feel like there's definitely some like plot gaps in this one, but like I've learned at this point not to be too concerned about the structuring anymore, about what they're talking about or doing at this point. Because again, it's just what if, and I've had to turn off my logic brain. But anyway, that is their job over at New Rockstars, is to overanalyze and overthink a lot of these things, and it does lead to some stretching of theories and speculation at point, but it's always for fun. I do think some people still take it too seriously, even when they go off on their own little tangents. And I'm just here to enjoy the ride, enjoy the content that these guys put out, and you know, it also helps us generate a conversation around it as well. And it's just fun. It's just fun. If you're not subscribed to them, like I've said before, go check them out. Go check out their merch. Support these guys. They put in a lot of work into not only this, but so many different things, man. Check them out. But anyway, that's been this video. I don't really have too much more to add to it, so I'm curious, what did you guys think of the breakdown? What did you think of the episode? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a like and a comment. And yeah, we can carry on the conversation in our Discord as well if you'd like, or my socials. Links to all of those in the description of this video. Before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Manny Share, Ryan, Karen, Jason Coleman, Philly Vane, Yori Korskov, and Margaret Grace. Thank you guys, as always, for your continued support. I really can't wait for next week's episode. I still hope it's a little bit of a brighter one, but we'll see, guys. We'll see next week, and I will see you guys there with the next episode of Marvel's What If. Take care, everybody.